kind of just a sweet spot. Planning a rundown, okay. We'll talk a little bit about what that is. So you have a TV news photographer. The photographer shot 32 minutes of tape, but the reporter, Zilko, will only have a minute and 30 seconds for her story for the 30-minute newscast at 5 p.m. and 2 minutes for the hour-long 6 p.m. newscast. The introduction to her story, which she writes for the anchor, will run 15 seconds before the story. There will be 20 seconds for a question and answer session with the anchor at the end of the story. The producers determine how much time each story can run. Everything is timed to the second in a television newscast. As soon as the morning planning meeting ends, this person, Anila, starts drafting a schedule called a rundown for the 5 p.m. newscast, in which she allocates minutes and seconds for every story. Then she begins writing promotional briefs called teasers, news briefs of about 20 to 25 seconds. This is your promo that will air a few times a day to encourage viewers to tune into the evening newscasts. You have to keep it really short so you're not giving too much away. Every story has to be timed to the second. If a story runs over the allotted time, she has to subtract time from another report, such as weather or sports. The time allocated to news is especially limited. The 30-minute newscast at 5 p.m. has only 14 minutes and 9 seconds for news. And the hour-long newscast at 6 p.m. has 22 minutes for news. Weather runs 8 minutes, sports runs 6 minutes. The rest of the time is allotted to teasers before the breaks and advertisements. And they have an example of what a rundown looks like. In addition to scheduling the rundowns and writing teasers, the producers write most of the anchor's material, and some of the smaller stories, including rewrites of national stories. I probably end up writing about 10 stories per newscast. It depends on the day. This person says, if we are short on reporters, those days are tough on producers. Before a show, the producers check all the graphics and names flashed on the screen to make sure they are accurate. Assigning stories. Bennett starts his day by checking his email, wire stories, websites, and other news media. Then he reviews the 30-day file of story ideas that he keeps in his desk. He creates an assignment sheet as a starting point for discussion at the morning planning meeting. Then he adds or changes the story list depending on the discussion and story suggestions from the reporters who are expected to come to the meeting with some story ideas based on their beats. I try to have 1 or 2 stories every day set up and ready to shoot, or in certain cases, ready in the can for the air, he says. He can count on some stories every week because the station airs regular features each day, and he listens to the police scanner for breaking news. Some days it's completely slow. Other days are just running and gunning from dawn to dusk, so it varies a lot. In addition to planning the news, Bennett edits scripts along with other newsroom managers. He looks for spelling, accuracy, and completeness. He speaks emphatically when he talks about writing. This is the thing that people don't understand. Good writing counts for more than anything else, at least in this television newsroom, period. I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how good you are, look good looking you are, or how well you can chat on the air. The fundamental value around here is breaking news and reporting it well. Everything goes back to writing it well. Some recommendations for writing well: write for clarity and brevity, use plain English, avoid repetition, especially between the reporter's writing and the soundbite. Pick sound bites that have emotion. A reporter can give you the facts. Bennett says, I don't need people telling you what the facts are. A reporter can do that better and faster. Okay, it's showtime. It's time for the 5 p.m. news, the 5 p.m. show. News director John Tracy heads for the studio where he anchors the 5 p.m. show. Tracy reads from the teleprompter, a machine that contains the scripts, which scroll as he reads. Tracy introduces the stories before the reporters deliver them. And at the end of the story, Tracy asks the reporter some questions to provide additional information. This is called a tag. Your reporter tag is how you end it. So in Binghamton, Tom Magnarelli for WSKG News would be my reporter tag, I would say. Or we call it a reporter out cue. Reporters often write the questions the anchor will ask. The show ends promptly at 5:30 to be followed by NBC Nightly News. Adams is convinced that the future of journalism is on the web. Some more stuff to think about there. Writing tips. Why should I care? What's it all about? So what? Attribution. A good lead. Write to your sound bites. They shouldn't come out of nowhere, and they should not repeat what you said leading into the bite. So there's some more good tips there. Okay, broadcast writing style. So here are a few major differences between print and broadcast writing. Attribution, always first in broadcast. The Bird Rescue Center's director says one of the eagles died, and it can be first or last for print or the web. One of the eagles died last night, said the director of the Bird Rescue Center. Active voice, who is doing what, not what was done to whom. Active voice is preferable for print, but it's even more necessary for broadcast. So in the active voice, it goes subject, verb, object. So volunteers at the center washed the eagles with Dawn detergent. So you have the action that the volunteers washed the eagles. In the passive voice, you have the object, the eagles, and the action being done to it. The eagles were washed with Dawn detergent by the volunteers. So remember, we're looking for the active voice. Present tense. So we're using present tense. So instead of Tom said, it's going to be Tom says. Tom says, that's a great thing that we're doing. Use when possible for broadcast. Past tense is more common in the print and on the web. So the present tense, one eagle remains in critical condition. In the past tense, one eagle remained in critical condition. Update leads, use the latest information. This technique is recommended for all media, but especially for broadcast and the web. Old news, 18 birds were flown to the Bird Rescue Center Saturday. Updated, 18 eagles are recovering at the Bird Rescue Center where they were flown Saturday. Okay, the broadcast script format. TV stations have different methods of writing directions. Some stations identify sound bites as SOT or a SOT, meaning sound on tape. Many of the terms previously used in scripts are changing. The script could contain a slug. This is a one or two word title, which is usually assigned by the producers. A reporter's story that includes the video, reporter's narration, and sound bites is called a package. It's called the package. And then you'll have an example of a script here. So you've got the web versions of all these stories. Teasers and lead-ins. So the teaser, also called a tease, is a short blurb to entice the viewers to tune in or stay tuned to a newscast. It is broadcast during the day before the newscast or during the newscast before a commercial break. Don't tease the regular segments in general terms like weather and sports. Tease something interesting or unique in your program that will affect the viewers. Write a tease as though you were telling a friend, guess what? You won't want to miss this. Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, 2 foster care teens sued the state, saying it did not keep them safe. Now both sides agreed to a settlement. More coming up at 5 o'clock. So that's a good example of a tease. Lead-ins, the anchor reads a lead into a package by a reporter. The lead-in should give the essence of the story and sometimes the context